Hello, my name is Leo and welcome to a new day of the Elder Scrolls Arena. We are on our way to 10 Mile Forest. We should hopefully arrive there. I think we're going to arrive there on Saturday. Every time I do an episode, I forget the day that we arrive. And immediately after doing the episode, I jump into Arena and just double check when we're supposed to arrive. Not jump into Arena, I watched the episode where it said what day we should arrive. And every time I forget, like the time when it's time for the next episode on the next day, I forget exactly what time I'm supposed to. Whatever, we'll arrive when we arrive. I believe I made it so that we arrive on Saturday, or Sunday, or possibly Friday. So, it's Thursday now, so it's certainly not today. I should probably double check that though after this episode again. Anyway, what happened to me yesterday? Oh man, oh god. Okay, so there's this thing, right? It's a food. It's called Gyoza, right? And they're basically little croissant-shaped dumplings. That it's Chinese food. Funny story actually. It is Chinese food, and you buy them at these like Chinese-style restaurants where they serve, ramen and gyoza, other dumplings, like dim sims, that sort of stuff. And I think the second time I came to Japan, I was on my own. The first time I was with school, so I was always stuck with teachers. But I was on my own, so I went to this restaurant and I'm like, oh, let's check this stuff out. And I tried some gyoza. I'm like, well, that looks interesting. Let's try that. And they usually like one plate is like 6 pieces, 6 little things, and they're about, I don't know, they're about as long as your index finger. Well, assuming you've got big ass hands like me, I guess. I tried them. I'm like, oh my god, these things are friggin' amazing. Like, it depends on how they're cooked. Sometimes they're cooked and they're a little bit soggy. The best ones are when they're not too crispy, but they're burnt in such a way that it's like crispy on one end and soft on the other end, and you dip them in this like amazing sauce, and it's just great. Um, there was actually a Japanese restaurant that served gyoza in my hometown in Australia, and they did not give gyoza justice. Now, so I tried this on my second trip to Japan. Now, later on in that same trip, I went to Tokyo and I had a homestay in Tokyo, and the homestay mother wanted to make me my favorite Japanese dish. And so she's like, "What's your favorite Japanese food?" Without any hesitation at all, I said gyoza, and everyone immediately started laughing. I didn't know they were Japanese at the time because I've never. I think you can get them at Chinese restaurants now, but I love yumcha, like Chinese yumcha, but I remember like, meat buns and dumplings and stuff like that, but I've never tried this gyoza before. But anyway, so they all laughed, and then I later on I found out that no, it's actually Chinese, but she cooked, oh god, she cooked a lot of gyoza. She just kept cooking it, and I just kept munching them down. I must have eaten a whole ton of gyoza that night. It was great. Now, recently, there is a Chinese restaurant near our place that we visit on occasion because one plate of like 6 gyoza is about $2, which is not bad, not a bad deal. I mean, well, I say $2. It's 200 yen, 210 yen with tax. Obviously, that actually translates into Australian dollars as being maybe more like 250 or 230. But whatever. Anyway, the point is, every now and again I go there and I might have like 3 plates. So that's what? That's 24, 36 gyoza. I think one time I had 4 plates, but once you get to that, it starts to get kind of expensive. Last night we went to I usually drive my father-in-law to his work, which is about an hour's drive away, because he's getting kind of old and he has crashed his car I think 2 times because he falls asleep while he's driving, because he starts at like 1 p.m. and he finishes at like 8 p.m. and he's usually like dozing off on the way home, which is really dangerous. So we drive him on on the days. It's only once a week. So and then like while we're waiting, like we drop him off at like 1, and then the city is like halfway between our house and his work. So we usually pop into the city and maybe do something in the city. Now there's a an onsen or a hot spring that the waifu really likes. I used to be into onsens. Now that it's getting colder, it's getting quite colder here in Japan. I think it was like 8 degrees Celsius yesterday. I might invest in it. Like when it's summer, the first few times I came to Japan, it was in summer. And onsens, they're okay. I mean, it feels good. It's like, nice and warm. But I don't like things that are too hot normally. And in summer, it's way too hot. There were a couple of onsens on my travels where, like, there's like a little cold pool, like, somewhere in the onsen. So you jump in the onsen, you get all hot. Oh god, I'm really hot now. You jump out, and then you jump into the cold pool, which is freezing freaking cold, and you're like, oh, it's cold. And then you jump back into the onsen again. You sort of alternate. Some places didn't have that, and I'd go back to like when you go to an onsen, this is a story for another day, but when you go to an onsen, you sort of got these little showers that you got to wash yourself in before you jump into the water. It's sort of like a courtesy thing, because the water is like supposed to be clean. So you're supposed to clean yourself before you jump in there. I say jump, you really shouldn't splash around in onsen water, it's not a good idea. But so usually if they don't have the little cold pool, I'd go back to the showers and just like fill up a bucket full of cold water and just dump it on my head and go, oh, and then go back in again. But like that's a real pain in the ass. The first time I came to Japan with the waifu, we went to like North Japan, and it was actually December at that time. So it was cold. I thought I saw snow for the first time. And we went to an onsen like way up north, and it was snowing at the time, and that's when I found the true worth of onsens. Because when you go to an outside hot spring, right? So it's outside. It was actually mixed bath, mixed gender. So I could actually go with the waifu. And like, so it was snowing very lightly, so the snow was falling down into the onsen, but the onsen's super warm, right? Because it's, volcanic heating. And so the lower half, you sort of sit so like your waist is out of the water. So your bottom half is like really hot, and then your top half is like, chilly. And then like you get too cold, you just dunk down. If you get too hot, you pull up. And it's just, it's great. So now that it's actually getting a bit colder, I might actually go to the onsen again. That being said, the first time I came, I visited my parents-in-law's, well, they weren't my parents-in-law at the time, house. I think I mentioned this, the shower is not the greatest. It's kind of dirty, and it's really small, and it's just not convenient at all for me. I just don't like having a shower there. But I've actually gotten used to it now. But at the time, I would actually beg the waifu to take me to some onsen so that I could have a shower there instead of having it here. Conversely, the same thing was for toilet, because I did not want to use the toilet here. I'd rather use a toilet at a shopping center, although I was smart, and there was a particular toilet in the shopping center that was tucked away in some back corner that almost nobody used. They just used the main one that was easy to access. So I walked the extra distance so that I could take a dump somewhere away from people that... And guess what? That toilet probably gets cleaned at least once a day. This toilet, I don't know when the last time it was cleaned. So yeah, there's only like a couple of people using it, but it never gets cleaned. The chances are that when I go take a dump at that supermarket, at that shopping center, since it was cleaned that morning, no one has probably used it. So it's pristine. Yeah, I got a bit of OCD like that. But anyway, getting back to the point, right? So she likes that. She likes that onsen in the city, right? So she goes there. Yeah, so I might go to onsens. Well, actually, no, we can't get back to the Gyoza yet, because I'm still talking about Gyoza. I'm still talking about onsens. I don't really want to do onsens anymore. I used to not mind it. The second time I came to Japan when I was by myself, we went to this onsen town that had like 6 or so onsens, and you could buy a pass that lets you just go to all of them at any time you wanted. And I went there like early in the morning, and they were all empty, and it was great. It was fun. It's fun going to onsens, like when there's no one around, even in summer. But this one's very popular, and they're filled with people, both, you know, Japanese old men, middle-aged businessmen, and little boys. And I feel really uncomfortable being the only Westerner. I'm super tall. I'm almost 2 meters tall. You know, I'm white as a sheet. Um, Literally as white can be. And you know, I'm like a tall, grey, lanky alien, just walking around in the onsen. And I know everyone's looking at me, and it's just creepy. I remember one time, in one of my earlier trips to Japan, I didn't know that much Japanese, but I knew a couple of things. I knew that uh, oki meant big, and chisai meant small, and then ne, adding ne at the end of a sentence is like a confirmation. So it's like, isn't it, or don't you think, or something like that. And I was in this onsen, and there were a couple of dudes there, a couple of old dudes, and I wasn't looking at them. I was minding my own business. I just heard this in a somewhat quiet voice, "Oki ne." I was like, oh god, they're looking at my junk. Stop it! Stop looking at my junk. Anyway, it's weird. But anyway, so she went to the onsen. Well, before we went to the onsen, next door is another one of these gyoza places. Different chain to the one we normally go to, but that's fine. And you know, I love my gyoza. I mean, obviously you could eat other stuff at this place. The wife who actually doesn't like gyoza that much, she prefers to eat ramen and soup and that sort of thing. But I just want gyoza, 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 gyoza. And the gyoza, you know, it was the same. I think it was the same price as normal. But you know, I actually hadn't eaten anything all day, and it was around about what, 5 o'clock. It was. I remember distinctly because there was a special offer that was just about to finish at 5 o'clock, and that was for about $7 or $7.50 in Australian. You could get 60 pieces of gyoza. Now, I didn't notice at the time, but after we ordered it, we found out they were a little bit small, but 60 per person. So we got this. The wife who ate like 2 plates, which is about, no, she didn't actually. She didn't finish the second plate. So each plate was about 12 pieces. But they were almost half size as the normal ones we get. So they were more like 6. She didn't finish the second plate, and then she went to the onsen, and we asked if it was okay for me to eat hers as well, and that they were okay with that. So I mashed through. I couldn't eat them. I couldn't eat all of them, but I ate like I ate somewhere between 50 and 60 gyoza, and I was freaking fat. I felt like, you know, the fat guy in Monty Python's Meaning of Life. The guy that eats like there's like the one little pea, and the garçon's like, you could just eat one little itty bitty pea, and he's like, fuck off, I'm full, and then he eats it, and then it just explodes. Man, that's a vivid memory from my childhood. I didn't watch the whole movie, but I watched that part of the movie, like when I was 6 or something. It was insane. But yeah, I ate so much gyoza, I was like fat as I couldn't eat any more. So that's when I decided, you know, I'm just going to give up. I'm just going to bow out. I've eaten, well, I almost ate my quantity, because it was 60 per person, right? So there was still like 4 more plates of like, what, 12 gyoza each to go. And I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I was just friggin' full. So I went to the car, and I was just waiting for the waifu in the car, just to had a little kiddie nap for about an hour. And even now, like, it's the next morning now. It's like 10 o'clock the next morning, and I am lethargic as hell. Like, I went for a walk, and which is very uncharacteristic of me, but I went for a walk, and like, I am just fat. Oh my god, I'm so huge. But I'm sure it'll go away eventually. Yeah, so that is, yeah, I don't think I'll ever do that again. It's insane. Like, there aren't many people. Like, I hadn't eaten anything all day. They also give you a bowl of rice and some soup. If I had eaten that bowl of rice, there's no way I could have eaten as many gyoza as I did. I ate, like, 2 scoops of rice until I realized, oh crap, if I eat this rice, I'm never gonna, because rice fills you up just like bread does. So, you can't have that. You can't, waste the gyoza. It's just rice, man. But, yeah, I don't think there's many people out there that could actually eat 60 gyoza in one sitting. Like, I almost did it, but, I mean, dude, I've eaten 1 kilogram steaks before. But this is just a whole nother level. Like, I was literally feeling like I was going to explode or throw up all over the place, which probably isn't a good idea. No, so I might not do that deal anymore. I might just maybe stick with the 3 plates of gyoza or something like that. But, at least I completely had my fill. There's no doubt about the fact that I had my fill. Probably won't eat anything today because I'm too freaking full of freaking gyoza. But anyway, that's enough about gyoza. So when we come back, it'll be Friday, so I will double check whether or not we actually are arriving there tomorrow. Otherwise, I will be doing another blog. But for now, my name is Leo, and I will see you next time.